Good day, everybody. I'm Todd Stanley. Thank you very much for tuning in to my Throwback Thursday video today. So we're going to go into two really incredible photographs of alleged Sasquatch. This one is currently circulating around the internet. It's called the Bigfoot mugshot. It's actually over a year old. It's just starting to get some momentum right now, so there's much to be learned about this particular photograph, as exceptional as it is. We're also going to talk about something else, this the back Bigfoot still cam photograph that I have here that was very excellent evidence back in its time, and how these two photographs relate to one another, and the importance of us really moving forward with this discovery process and evidence like this. We're going to get into all of that today and more, so stay tuned. It's going to be a great show. So I've been looking at this photograph for quite some time, and I have some new evidence that I just came up. A botanist actually has chimed in to give us some relativity. So what's really important, so this photograph, I have some experts telling me it's been very likely photoshopped. The contrast exposure has been moved around on it. But currently the most important thing about this photograph is there's no backstory. I don't know where it comes from. I've heard speculation, and when I've investigated the speculation, it has not come to fruition. One thing I'm gonna state quite clearly is I do not believe this is AI. So this looks like a very potentially legitimate photograph of a Sasquatch or some fantastic high-level makeup. So problem is, and the other thing that with this photograph is the possibilities that I'm looking at here. This is a human being with makeup because it looks extremely organic, and the proportions that have been argued are not human. I'm going to say they definitively are now with the proof of my botanist that's come on board, because I'll tell you. So people have compared some proportions. I saw a video just that's come out this week that's kind of doing really well, where he shows old people compared to this Sasquatch. Well, the noses don't come into great alignment, and there does seem to be a significant amount of space between the lip and the nose that looks a little abnormal, a little more Sasquatch-like. But overall, the proportions are pretty similar to human beings. So again, and the comparison the person was using was old people. And old people, what you need to know is when you're young, your nose and your ears are smaller, and they never stop growing. So as you get older, your nose gets bigger and your ears get bigger. He keeps comparing to like 70, 80-year-olds to this, where their noses are not matching up. Well, of course not. And their noses are bending down like this. So I kind of find that perplexing why he didn't use, because that can't be argued. That Sasquatch, I would say, like sincerely, is nowhere in his 30s even. The weathering, there just looks like to be a lot of youth. In fact, this could be a pretty young Sasquatch if it is in fact real. But I'm finding the proportions to be very human in my own perspective, what I've looked at. And then more importantly, the plant that's in front of that alleged Sasquatch has been identified. So that leaf, I'm told, is about 3.5 inches long. And that tubule of the plant that runs in front of that Sasquatch's face, that's only about 1/8 of an inch. So literally, those lips on that Sasquatch are no more than 3 inches across. So it's completely human proportions. So if it is a Sasquatch, it certainly looks like a male. It does not look like a female. And it's the male, I mean, it could be a male Sasquatch who's maybe 12 years old, 11 years old, 10 years old, because Sasquatch right across the board, I mean, a male that had a 16-inch track would be small. Like Kubota, a Sasquatch I filmed, who does have approximately a 16.25-inch track. He's only about 8'6" tall. That's still enormous. His head is absolutely enormous. And I've proven as well in videos, when people try to preposterously morph my head into one of my Sasquatch videos, I prove that Jake's head is about 16 inches across. So when Thinker Thunker did that, he's a complete idiot, a complete moron. My head is, since I had to do the measurements, approximately 7 inches across, not 16. The nose that you see on Jake would be across my face this big. His eyes would be just way out. Although the proportions somewhat match, uh, it's not close enough. In the meatheads that morphed my head into it again. And remember how idiotic that is. I'm gonna prove Thinker Thunker a moron right now. Watch this. Are you watching? Watch this, moron Thinker Thunker. You're an idiot. Do you see what I just did? Watch this. You know where I got these glasses? I got these glasses at a regular glass store. All glasses fit my face perfectly. I can go into any store anywhere. My daughter can wear glasses. My son can wear the same glasses. Someone who's 5'10", male, shorter than me, 5'6", 5'2", wears the same exact glasses as I do because our proportions all match. So, moron, if my face matches, anybody's face matches. So that proves nothing. And it doesn't match actually, because when you look at it, well, you have to chop the bottom half inch of my nose off if you were to fit it in there. And then he stretched and pulled my face, which you can do in Photoshop. So really the analysis was it was actually really moronic and preposterous, like totally blew my mind. When I first saw it, I actually laughed out loud. I couldn't believe how funny it was. I showed it to my colleague. We just laughed. It was hilarious, but people took it seriously. So, it is what it is. But so I'm not seeing the proportions that match up with this particular potential Sasquatch, which I actually really like this photo. I don't know. It looks quite clear that it was aged in Photoshop. It was contrasted up in Photoshop. The hair on the nose looks a little off to me, but everything else looks, I mean, a little different than what I've seen. There's a patch of hair on the nose that doesn't look normal to me. But everything else looks so great. So if this is fake, it's an excellent fake. I can be faked. There's a photograph of an artist rendering I'll show right now. If that was put out in the wilderness and I saw that, and there was photographs taken of that, that would fool me. So makeup, a full-on mask from scratch can fool me. And of course, makeup can be done well enough to fool me. So you can't fake proportions though. And it'd be nice to have more evidence, more background. So that's why with this photograph, especially, background is so important. Then we have this Hoovie photograph. And so how this relates, this is the back of a Sasquatch. I consider this to be potentially excellent evidence as well. I'm going to read a little excerpt, well, just off the top of my head. So there was a court case that this went to over, this is not her photograph, but she claims copyright for it. And I think she lost in court. I don't really want to get into the semantics of it though. It is what it is. Here's some potentially excellent evidence. The problem, and as you can see, so this has been photoshopped here where they're showing a tick, a blood mark, some different marks on the back, potentially an ear. So, but the backstory on this is very vague. The person who took this or had the game camera that took it really didn't come forward. And that's what I really want to talk about, the relationship between these two photographs. If you don't come forward, if you're not going to be transparent, I mean, there's really no excuse. If the people who have these photos, if it's really Sasquatch, call me. If you don't like me, I'll set you up with Survivor Man. If you don't like Survivor Man, I'll set you up with Jeff Meldrum. If you don't like Jeff Meldrum, I'll find somebody. I'll pass it off. If you let me come and do the investigation, I'll give you a confidentiality agreement. I have them. I'll sign a confidentiality agreement. What background do I have? Well, let me tell you. I've been to Nia Bay. I've been to Randy Brisson's research site. I've been to a New York research site. I've been to an Alabama research site with a colleague, Justin. It goes on and on. Radium is not known. The original Sylvanic area is not known. I keep secrets really, really well. So really there's no reason for you to put this photograph out there and then shove your head in the sands after, right? Act like you're all brave and here's the photo, yet you're a coward and you run away. Don't worry about the safety of Sasquatch. My problem is with these people that half-ass it and run away and hide cowardice. You're not doing this discovery process any good. It's just a bogus tease, and you're a coward if you don't come forward. I've given you every single reason to come forward. If you want to come forward, I back you up. I support you. I know Sasquatch is real. I take people out and show them Sasquatch. And if you're going to do like Paul Freeman did and make some video, have a video, and then move forward. Paul Freeman took Jeff Meldrum out and gave him some of the most incredible tracks in the world. Paul Freeman is a freaking hero for this discovery process. His son might not think so because his life was damaged because Paul Freeman was so freaking obsessed with it. But the same thing with Bob Gimlin. These are the some of the greatest Sasquatch evidence that's ever come out. And Bob Gimlin does festivals and talks about it. So did Roger Patterson. So, and they even gathered amazing evidence to substantiate the facts that these videos are real. So these great men and many other people, you take a photograph, come forward. And if you're not going to come forward, shut your mouth and stay hidden, you know? So, because you're really doing more harm than good, in fact, I would think. You're being deceitful. If you're hiding, if you have something to hide, you're being deceptive. If you come out with a photograph, you're going to have to be transparent. You're going to have to take some criticism. Believe me, I know about it. I think more people than not think my photographs aren't real. But there's no arguing, like Bob Gimlin and Paul Freeman, I'm out there. I show people Sasquatch. There are people that have eyewitnessed and live interacted with the Sasquatch, dozens and dozens of people that I take out to. So this really, from my perspective, there's no arguing. I convinced Jeff Meldrum and I convinced John Benernagel and Survivorman the reality of my work, because after they saw the footage and the videos, what did I do? Took them out into the field fearlessly. And I've never, ever in the field been accused of anything fraudulent in any way, shape, or form, ever. Everything that happens out in the field is absolutely authentic. It's absolutely Sasquatch. And the reality of what I do and what's happening with this discovery has to be like this. We have to have people like me out here going, here's the footage, here's the research, here's the repeatability of it, and don't take my word for it. Come out with me and I'll show you a Sasquatch. So that's what I'm doing. I'm neck deep in it. Here's some testimony from John Benernagel, a little bit from Jeff Meldrum about, remember, I took these men out into the field and convinced them beyond a reasonable doubt that Sasquatch exists. So that has been done by me. Other people are doing the same thing. And if you want your confidentiality, 100% you can have it. I'll go out with you anywhere. I'll find someone to go out with you. I'll give you confidentiality agreements. We'll keep it safe. The reason I'm telling you all this is this discovery process is so important, and half-assing it isn't going to get us anywhere. If you can't be authentic, if you can't tell the truth from top to bottom, then you're not doing us any good. You're being deceitful, you're being deceptive, hiding away and not expressing the absolute truth isn't going to do us any good. That Hoovie photograph, allegedly there's more. Allegedly this person has these Sasquatch coming onto his property. You could literally be the person that breaks this discovery. And the reason we need people to come forward, and I would encourage them to do so, is the discovery is extremely important. Watch my videos. This is not just some new primate discovery. This is a big deal. This is paradigm shifting for the human species. It's absolutely enormous. It's very important. And if you're withholding the truth, then you're doing more harm than good.